chosen one. My beloved, a secret delivery from heaven has already been wrapped in glory, already sealed with your name, and it is making its way to your soul right now. Archangel Michael is personally escorting it, not a lesser angel, not a messenger sent in his place. Archangel Michael himself. And you need to understand why, because this tells you everything about what is coming. This is not a common blessing. This is a rare one, the kind that breaks generational curses, the kind that shifts the entire trajectory of a life, not just one area of it, the kind that you thought you would never receive, because nothing seemed to change, no matter how long you waited, no matter how faithfully you prayed, no matter how many times you chose to hold on when everything in you wanted to let go. But tonight is different. The moment it finally appears has arrived, and the moment is now. I need you to hear something before we go any further. Your heart is beating a little differently right now, is it not? There is something stirring in your chest that you cannot fully explain with logic, a warmth, an anticipation, a quiet but undeniable sense that something is happening. That is not your imagination. That is your spirit receiving the announcement before your eyes can see the evidence, because that is always how heaven works. The soul gets the news first. The eyes witness it afterward. If something in your spirit recognized this before your mind had time to apply logic to it, type 111 in the comments. Not as a superstition, as the acknowledgement of someone whose alignment has already begun, and who knows the difference between ordinary content and a word that was sent. Press the like button right now. This is not just a gesture to a channel. This is an act of faith. When you press like, you are telling heaven that you agree with what is being released. You are creating a pathway for divine favor to flow into your life, and it will begin tonight. Then go to the comments and write one word: Amen. Not as a casual response. When you write it, your soul is agreeing with what is already happening in heaven. You are synchronizing your voice with the angels who are already celebrating your name. You are releasing faith into the spiritual atmosphere. The miracle draws closer because you let it. Archangel Michael said something specific about you. He said, "They will be so happy tonight if they listen now. They will get down on their knees in shock. That is how real this is." He said, "God did not give this to you until you were strong enough to hold it. And you are strong enough now. You may not feel like it. You may look back at everything you have been through and wonder how strength could possibly be the word that describes what remains. But Michael sees something you have not yet been able to fully see in yourself, and what he sees made him smile. This is a divine announcement disguised as a congratulation. If you open what is being placed in your hands right now with faith rather than fear, it will elevate you in ways you have not been able to imagine from where you are currently standing. You did not end up here by accident. You did not stumble across this message randomly. You were summoned. There was a whisper that came before you clicked here, before you pressed play, before your eyes found the first word, a whisper that came from heaven itself saying, "Wait. This one is almost ready." And because you answered that whisper, because your spirit recognized the call even before your mind could explain it, you are exactly where heaven needed you to be at this exact moment. You could have scrolled past. Many people did. Others felt the pull and ignored it. But you did not. And Michael says that matters. He says you did not come this far to be only one step away from your miracle and miss it. Now, let me tell you what happens when you fully embrace what is being placed in your hands tonight. The first thing that will change is the pressure in your chest. That specific heaviness that has been sitting there, the one that follows you into sleep and greets you when you wake, will begin to lighten almost immediately. Not because your circumstances have all resolved overnight, but because something in the spiritual atmosphere around your life has shifted. and your body will register that shift before your mind can put words to it. The second thing that will happen is that someone who has been thinking about you, someone who has been holding back what they wanted to say, will finally say it. There has been a person in your life, or someone moving toward your life, who has carried a feeling for you that fear has been keeping inside. That fear is dissolving. The words are gathering, and they are heading in your direction. The third thing is that something that has been stuck, locked, or suspended for what feels like far too long, something in your circumstances, in a relationship, in a plan, in an opportunity that seemed to have gone completely cold, will begin to move again. The delay was not permanent. The suspension was not the final state. Heaven is releasing what was on hold. The fourth thing is about resources. Money that you did not know was coming. Provision that arrives through a path you did not anticipate. Financial movement that does not follow the logic of your current situation will begin to show up, and Michael says there will be signs of it before you even go to sleep tonight. And the fifth thing is this: a peace will come over you that has no obvious explanation in the middle of circumstances that still have some unresolved pieces. In a season that is not yet fully transformed, a calm will arrive that only belongs to someone who has heard from heaven and believed what they heard. These are not wishes. Michael is not making promises he cannot keep. He is making statements about what is already decided. Your miracle is not hoping to arrive. It has arrived. It is only waiting for you to agree. Something in you shifted when those 5 things were spoken, not as information received from the outside, as a recognition from the inside. The specific kind of recognition that happens when truth arrives at the exact depth it was meant to reach. And your spirit identifies it before your mind has had time to decide whether to believe it. That shift is real. That recognition is real. And it did not happen because you found the right content at the right time. It happened because you were found at the right hour, with the right word, at the exact moment when receiving it would produce the most impact on where you are going from here. This message exists to find the one who arrives at the threshold of their season and finally hears what they stopped letting themselves expect. If what just landed in you went deeper than encouragement, if it reached the specific place that most voices cannot reach, there is a link in the pinned comment below. A coffee, the simplest version of saying yes to what you just felt. A single gift at whatever amount your spirit moves toward, or a monthly partnership. If something in you recognizes that what is being carried through this voice is the kind of transmission you want to remain connected to, as each phase of what was announced over your life unfolds, the link is pinned. But before you move toward it, understand what this is. Receiving does not begin with arrival. It begins with release. What you let go of from this place, from the part of you that just opened a little wider than it was open before you started reading, enters the same current that is already carrying what was announced over your life toward your door. Stop holding your hands closed, waiting, calculating, deciding whether what you just felt is safe enough to act on. And the moment you open them is the moment what is coming has room to land. The link is pinned. Release from the place that just recognized something. Now let me take you into the verdict that heaven has rendered over your life. My beloved child, heaven has made its choice. The courtroom of eternity has issued its verdict, and the decree is this: bless this one completely, right away, without any further delay, without any more pain standing in the way, without any more fear being permitted to block what belongs to them. That is the verdict. That is what was signed. That is what Archangel Michael is carrying personally to your door right now, because it is too significant, too specific, and too long overdue to be entrusted to any lesser carrier. Go to the comments and write this right now. I receive it now. Not I hope to receive it. Not maybe someday. I receive it now. Present tense. Full agreement. Let that declaration go up as a sound that the spiritual world responds to, because it will. My beloved, I need to talk to you about the timing, because I know that one of the things that has been hardest to carry in this season is not just the waiting, but the not understanding why. Why now and not sooner? Why this long? Why you, who have been faithful, still here, still believing, had to endure what you endured, while others seem to move forward without the same resistance? Archangel Michael says this miracle was delayed on purpose. Not randomly, not carelessly. On purpose, because heaven was still working on the hearts of others around you. Some people connected to your story were not yet ready. Some chains in the lives of people your breakthrough would touch had not yet been broken. Some hidden things were still in the dark that needed to be brought to light before your moment could arrive, without those things contaminating it. But right now, that work is complete. Heaven has cleared the way, and the verdict can now be executed. There is something else Michael revealed about the timing that I want you to hear, because it will change the way you understand every moment of delay you experienced. He said that if you had received this blessing even a month earlier, you would have fumbled it. Not because you were not worthy, but because you were not yet fully ready to hold it without dropping it. You would have questioned it. You would have doubted yourself in ways that would have cost you what heaven was trying to give you. You might have shared it with the wrong person and had it undermined before it could fully take root. You might have received it with gratitude, but not with the depth of recognition that sustains it through the seasons that follow. But now the preparation is complete. Now you are someone different. Now you no longer beg. You issue the command. You no longer chase. You attract. You no longer plead for people to see your worth. You know your worth, and you carry it differently, and you no longer settle for what is available when what is assigned is still coming. The version of you that endured this season is the version that can carry what is being released. Look at what you are made of now. You helped people even when you had very little left for yourself. You prayed prayers in your head when you were too exhausted to say them out loud. You chose to keep going when the voice of doubt was louder than any outside encouragement. You held on to something invisible when everything visible was telling you to let go. Heaven saw all of it. Michael saw all of it, and now, heaven answers. This is not a maybe. This was written into the design of your life before you were born. Every person who left, every door that shut, every breakdown that felt like it was destroying you, all of it was preparing a way for what is now being given. The delivery is taking place right now as these words enter your spirit. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications. You are not following a channel. You are opening a sacred pipeline, the kind that does not carry content, but carries transmissions timed to reach you at each phase of what is unfolding. Michael says that staying connected to what heaven is releasing through this voice is not a casual choice. When you click subscribe, you are telling heaven that you are ready for more, that you want to keep aligning yourself with what is being released, that you are open to what will continue to arrive. The pipeline remains open as long as you remain connected to the voice designated to carry it. Subscribe and seal your alignment. I want to pause here for a moment, because what comes next in this message is the part that most people in a long season need more than almost anything else. It is the part about what Archangel Michael has been doing around you unseen, for longer than you have realized. It is about the 7 angels gathered around your name. It is about the spiritual clearing that has been happening in the atmosphere of your life to make room for something too holy to be in the presence of noise. And it is about the blessing that has been waiting, not just for months or years, but for generations, for someone exactly like you to be strong enough to receive it without being overwhelmed. My dear one, Archangel Michael has something specific. He wants me to tell you about what has been happening around you while you were simply trying to get through each day. There are 7 angels gathered around your name right now. 7. Not because this is a symbolic number chosen for effect, but because what is being released over your life required an escort of that magnitude. Michael says rejoicing can be heard among them. They are celebrating what has already been decided. They know what is coming, and they are preparing the way for your reception of it with the kind of joy that only beings who understand the full weight of what a person has endured can feel when they see that person finally stepping into their moment. But there is one angel whose expression is different. Not sorrowful, exactly. More like the protective ache of a guardian who has watched closely and who cares deeply. This angel watched the times when you almost gave up. The specific moments when you were one step away from releasing what you were holding and walking away from the faith that was sustaining you. It was just one sign from that angel that kept you in those moments. A warmth you could not explain. A sudden thought that interrupted the despair at exactly the right second. A quiet knowing that arrived like a whisper through the noise. That was not coincidence. That was this angel staying, refusing to leave your side, even when you could not see or feel the presence. And now that angel is afraid of one thing only. Afraid you will not believe this is real. Afraid you will read these words and let the voice of logic or the voice of past disappointment convince you that this is too good to be true. Michael says, please do not let that happen. Not now. You have already come through the hardest part. Do not close your hand on the threshold of receiving. In the hours leading up to this moment, Michael has been following you. You could feel it, could you not? A quality in the air, a sense of something present. Moments that felt significant, even when nothing specifically significant was happening. Things catching your attention, thoughts arriving that seemed larger than the ordinary thoughts of an ordinary day. Signs and songs and numbers and names that seemed to appear with a frequency just a little higher than usual. That was him working around you. Michael has been cleaning the spiritual atmosphere around your life, removing residue left by seasons that should have been over by now, sweeping away what he calls spiritual dust that had settled on your timeline, the accumulated weight of years of resistance and opposition and attacks both seen and unseen. He was preparing the environment because what is coming is too holy, too pure, and too significant to arrive in the middle of noise. It needed a clean landing place, and he has been building one around you all day. The angels did not observe your situation from a distance. They entered it. 7 of them gathered around your name, and 1 of them refused to leave your side through every moment you almost did not make it through. If that landed in you as truth, not as poetry type 444 in the comments, let it be your acknowledgement that you were never as alone as those seasons made you feel. Someone is reading these words right now, in the same place you were before this message found you, before the 7 angels were named, before the clearing was described, before the one who watched without leaving was revealed. They are in the middle of the season you are stepping out of, carrying the specific weight that these words just named, wondering if heaven has a record of what they have been enduring in silence. This message exists to find them at that hour. If what has been spoken has been the kind of word that found you when you needed to be found, there is a link in the description and the pinned comment below. A coffee, a single gift, or a monthly partnership if something in you recognizes that this voice is carrying transmissions for specific seasons, and you want to remain in the flow as yours continues to unfold. The link is pinned. What you release from a place that just opened does not diminish what is coming to you. It moves through your hands and multiplies, because that is what happens when a seed is planted by someone who just received. What flows through your hands here enters the same current that is already carrying what was announced over your life. The link is pinned. Let go from the place that just felt something clear. This blessing has been waiting a long time. It was not prepared last week or last year. Michael revealed something that I want you to sit with. This blessing has been preserved for generations, waiting for someone with a specific spiritual capacity to receive it without being destroyed by it. Something this pure, this powerful, this complete in what it covers, requires a vessel that has been tested, refined, and proven. Most people encountered this level of blessing before they were ready, and it overwhelmed them. Some questioned it away. Some gave it to the wrong hands. Some simply could not hold its weight. But you are different. The things you have been through shaped something in you. That is exactly what this level of blessing requires in the person who carries it. And heaven recognized that about you before you recognized it about yourself. That is why you were the one. That is why it was your name on the delivery. That is why Michael came personally. My beloved, I want to tell you something specific about what is being released, because the word restoration is used so often that it can start to feel like a general promise without specific content. Michael does not deal in generalizations. What he carries is specific, and what he is releasing over your life is specific. He said the word that came from heaven was this: bless them without limits, restore them completely, not partially, not in one area while leaving others untouched, not with a measure of improvement that makes things slightly better. Completely. That word completely is the one that made heaven stand still for a moment. When it was spoken, because complete restoration is rare, it means nothing gets left behind in the process. Nothing that belongs to your full life remains in the season that is ending. What does that mean in the visible, physical reality of your daily life? It means you will not just get back what was taken from you. You will receive it multiplied. The financial resources that were blocked, the provision that seemed to evaporate before it could reach your hands, the money that went out but never seemed to come back in with the same consistency, will begin to return in waves. And those waves will be strong enough that before you have fully processed your own abundance, you will find yourself blessing someone else out of the overflow. That is not a distant future scenario. That is what complete financial restoration produces in the life of someone who has learned through the waiting how to steward what they receive. It means you will feel a love so pure that it will make you forget what it felt like to lie awake, wondering if you were lovable. Not because the memory of loneliness will be erased, but because the new reality will be so present, so warm, so undeniably real, that the old contrast will stop having the same emotional authority over you. Someone is already carrying something toward you. Someone has been thinking about you, holding feelings they have not yet found the courage to speak. And the season of their courage has arrived. When they finally say what they have been holding, it will land in you differently than anything you have received before, because you are different now, and what you carry will draw a different quality of love toward you. It means that the opportunities you felt you missed, the chances that seemed to dissolve before you could take them, the moments where you could see the door but could not get through it in time, will return to you, not as regret, but as divine appointments dressed in new forms. Heaven does not waste what was designated for a chosen one. When the timing is not right, the opportunity does not disappear. It waits, and now the timing is right. What you thought was gone was being held. It means that the peace you thought was no longer available to you, the genuine settled quiet that you used to know before the weight of this season settled in, will come back. But it will not come back the way it was before. It will come back stronger, built on a foundation that your waiting season constructed brick by brick. The peace that comes after the storm that you survived is different from the peace that exists before the storm ever comes. It is grounded. It is tested. It is the peace of someone who found out that they could endure, and that knowledge changes how they live in quiet seasons. But Michael says something important about how miracles actually arrive. He says, "Do not look for lights flashing or dramatic announcements. Miracles show up as stillness, as a knowing that settles into you before the external evidence arrives, as subtle changes in the energy of a room when you walk into it, as the particular quality of a conversation that carries something heavier than its surface topic, as a payment that appears in your account without a clear explanation, as a calm that descends in the middle of circumstances that have not yet fully changed. That is how heaven moves. Not in spectacle, in reality, and only people whose hearts are open can recognize it for what it is. That is why this message found you. That is why it reached you at this specific hour. And that is why when the signs begin to appear tonight, you will recognize them for what they are, rather than explain them away. Divine timing does not announce itself with noise. It arrives with weight, the specific weight of something that was always meant to reach you, arriving exactly when you were ready to hold it. If the description of what complete restoration looks like in your specific life landed with that kind of weight, type 777 in the comments. That weight is confirmation. Heaven recognizes its own. Write in the comments right now, "I am ready to receive." Write it with your whole heart. Let it be the declaration of someone who has moved past hope into expectation, past wishing into receiving. Write it as your agreement with the restoration that is already in motion. My beloved, you are still here. You stayed through the verdict, through the truth about the timing, through the clearing that Michael has been doing, through the revelation of what complete restoration actually looks like in specific, tangible terms. The fact that you stayed through all of that you have not looked away or scrolled past, tells heaven something important about who you are right now. You are the person this message was sent for, and you stayed long enough to prove it. Now, let me take you into the golden scroll that has your name written on it, my dear one. This message is more than a collection of encouraging words. Michael revealed something about the nature of what you are holding right now. He called it your scroll, your golden letter, the delivery of everything that was delayed, finally complete. You did not find this. Heaven sent it. It came down from a place where the decisions about your life have always been made, wrapped in the specific words that your spirit needed at this specific moment. Every word was chosen with your heart in mind, and because it was spoken into your life, it cannot go back empty. That is a principle that governs how heaven operates. When a word is released over a life, it carries the assignment of what it was sent to accomplish, and it does not stop working until that assignment is fulfilled, even if your mind cannot fully comprehend it yet, even if doubt tries to creep in at the edges. The word that has entered your spirit will do what it was sent to do. Your name is carved into a door that has been shut for years. You have been standing in front of it. You have pressed your hand against it. You have asked why it would not open. You have wondered at different points whether it was meant for you after all, whether you had misread which door was yours. But Michael says the name on it was always yours. The door was not locked against you. It was locked until the right time, and the right time arrived tonight. When that door opens, and it is opening, now you will forget why you cried over it. There is a whisper from God that goes with this restoration that says this: do you understand now why I made you wait? Do you see now why I made you stronger before I gave you this? What is coming would stay with you forever, not leave you as other things have. because what you are about to receive could overwhelm someone who was not ready. But you are ready. You are not the same person you were, and heaven knows that now. There may be a voice that tries to follow you into what comes next. A familiar voice that asks, what if it is not real? What if nothing changes? What if this is just another moment of hope that dissolves before it fully arrives? But Michael says to recognize that voice for exactly what it is. It is not wisdom. It is not discernment. It is not God. It is the ghost of your past trying to follow you into a future it does not belong in. Do not open the door for it. You are not the person who struggled in silence for all those years. That was one version of you. The version standing here now has been checked by heaven, found ready, and given permission to carry something holy. Lock the door on the old voice, not with resistance or struggle, simply with recognition. You know it now. You know what it is. And knowing it strips it of the authority it tried to claim over your choices. Something is completing itself right now. The season that held you in silence, in waiting, in the specific exhaustion of enduring without visible confirmation, it is closing, not as a loss, as a graduation. If your spirit recognizes that the version of you who walked through all of that is not the version standing here now, type 999 in the comments. Let it be the sound of a door you are choosing not to walk back through. The same opening the door requires of you that willingness to stop holding your hands closed and let what is coming have room to land. Your hands need to practice it here too, not as an obligation, as an alignment. The first act of someone who has stepped out of the season of managing and into the season of receiving is simple. Open your hands. This message exists to find the one who is 1 hour away from stepping into what has been held for them, and who needed to hear, at exactly this threshold, that what they have been waiting for is not a wish. It is a delivery with their name on it. If this word has been that kind of message tonight, there is a link in the pinned comment below. A coffee. The lightest version of saying yes, a single gift at whatever amount your spirit moves toward, or a monthly partnership. If something in you recognizes that you want to remain connected to this voice, as each phase of the season you are entering unfolds, the link is pinned. Restoration does not begin the moment the blessing arrives. It begins the moment you stop holding your hands closed. Stop holding your hands closed. Calculating, protecting, deciding whether this season is real enough to respond to, and the moment you open them is the moment the door that just opened has somewhere to deliver what it is carrying. Not a general prayer before you go, the kind you mean when you are honest in the quiet, the one who protected what was yours through every season of delay, who refused to let it be contaminated. Before it could reach you, that same protection extends to what you release from this place. What moves through your hands tonight enters a current that heaven is already moving. And your peace is not as far away as the waiting has made it feel. The specific, settled, unhurried peace that was named for you tonight, it does not require more seasons to arrive. It requires open hands. The link is pinned. Let go from the place that just said yes to the door opening. Now, let me bring you into the decree that closes what heaven opened tonight. My dear one, my beloved child, here is the final truth that Archangel Michael carried to your door tonight. You are about to enter a season of easy arrival. The season you are leaving behind was characterized by effort that did not always produce proportional results, by faith that was sustained without visible confirmation, by strength applied to a door that would not move. That season formed you. It built something inside you that cannot be built any other way. But it is closing now. The season opening in front of you is different in its fundamental nature. In this season, you do not beg anymore. You do not beg for resources to come to you, for people to recognize your worth, for doors to respond to your effort. You have moved past the energy of begging. You issue the command. You speak to what belongs to you from a place of knowing. You do not chase. You attract. What is designated for you in this season is drawn to you by the alignment of your life, with your assignment, not by your effort to close the gap between you and it. You do not force. What is meant for you does not require force to receive. It arrives because the timing is right, and because you are positioned to receive it. Your role is not to manufacture the blessing. Your role is to remain aligned, remain open, and remain present when it arrives. You stop doubting. The voice of doubt is not a form of wisdom. It is an attempt to make you behave in ways that interrupt what heaven is releasing. And now that you know that, now that you recognize the ghost of your past for what it is when it shows up, you have a power over it you did not have before. You simply do not give it the authority it is asking for, only receiving, only blooming, only becoming. Heaven heard your yes tonight. Archangel Michael heard it, and God responded in the way that only God responds to a yes spoken from a place of genuine faith, after a long season of genuine endurance. He stood up. He moved on your behalf, and what is already in motion cannot be stopped by anything that did not originate with him. Here is what I need from you before you carry this into the rest of your night. Like this message right now, if you have not already. Not as a gesture to an algorithm, as your act of faith, your agreement with what has been released, your declaration to heaven that you receive this word and you are standing in it. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications. When you click subscribe, you are telling heaven that you are ready to keep receiving, that the alignment beginning tonight is not a one-time event, but an ongoing flow you want to stay connected to. The messages that are coming through this voice carry specific guidance for specific phases of the season you are entering. The pipeline is open. Stay in the flow. Share this message with at least 3 people tonight. You know who needs this. The person who is lying awake right now, wondering if heaven remembers their name. The person who is one sign away from giving up. The person who has been faithful and invisible, carrying something that nobody else around them can see. Send this to them directly. When you pass what is holy from your hands into theirs, the anointing that is on you travels with it. And when you bless someone else from the place that just received what you release, does not diminish what is coming to you. It multiplies. What you give from this place returns to your own life with a speed that will surprise you. And go to the comments one final time. Write these words. I will be very happy tonight. Write it not quietly, not with reservation, with the full settled confidence of someone who just heard from Archangel Michael directly and chose to believe every word of it. Write it as the declaration of a person who received a word from heaven, believed it, and is now choosing to live in that belief before the visible evidence fully arrives. Write it as your seal on everything that was spoken over you tonight. Write it as your amen. Say it out loud right now. You are loved. You were chosen before you understood what that meant. You endured something that was building something in you that could not have been built any other way. And now the building is complete. The cover is lifting. The door is opening, and your golden letter is in your hands. Go forward in the knowledge that you are not entering tomorrow the same way you entered today. Something has changed, something permanent, something that carries your name. Archangel Michael smiles. Heaven is at peace about you, and you will be very, very happy tonight. Go live in what just opened.